I know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today's topic is consistency. This is a key to success. This is a key to achievement. This is a key to you reaching your goals. This is a key to you getting to where you want to get to. I don't care if you are an athlete, if you are a full-time student, if you own your own business, if you're trying to get a job, it doesn't matter. If you want to be great at what you do, if you want to be good at what you do, if you just want to get a result from what you do, you got to be consistent. This is a key to performance. Those of you who watch basketball, if you watch the NBA and you watch the NCAA in basketball, you notice something, that in the NBA, you rarely see a 50-point blowout. You rarely see a 50-point blowout in the NBA. You know why? You know why most of the time when a team wins is somewhere between, let's say, 1 and 10 points. Usually that's how the wins are. Maybe every once in a while a team loses by 20 and they're like, this can't happen. And the very next game, they don't lose by 20 again most of the time. You know why that is? You know why you can watch an NCAA non-conference game at the beginning of the season and some D1 high major team blows out some other team by 50, 60 points, even though they're the same age players. They got the same amount of experience up to that point, but the difference in talent is so great that, and I'm giving away what the point is, the difference in talent in the NCAA is it varies greatly from the top teams to the lower teams, a huge difference. And a place like the NBA, the difference in talent between teams is very small. This is the best team, this is the worst team. The difference in talent is a very, very small difference. Some fans or casual fans who watch the game, they think, well, the team that wins the championship, they're way more talented than the team that doesn't even make the playoffs. That's actually not true. The talent is there every single night. That's why on any given night, any team in the NBA can beat any other team. The defending champs can lose to the team that got the #1 pick in the draft and have the worst record in the NBA. You know why that is? Because the difference in talent is not that different. The difference that happens that night when that worst team beats the best team is that their focus was higher. They're more focused because they said, oh, we playing against the champs. Oh, everybody's coming to the game tonight. Everybody's going to be watching. Oh, this is my chance to prove myself against the team that's supposedly the best in the world. Everybody's focus is up. Everybody makes sure they get a good night's sleep. Everybody comes to the arena early. Everybody really wants to win this game because they know it's their chance to get seen, even though they've sucked all year. And guess what? They show up and they at least give the champions a good game. If they don't win, they'll give them a good game. Why is that? Because the talent was always there. It's not a difference in talent. They didn't all of a sudden become talented. The worst team in the league does not all of a sudden become talented and beat the Cleveland Cavs or the Golden State Warriors or whoever happens to be the champion at the time. Their talent didn't just go up. Their focus went up. And the reason I'm bringing up focus is that the reason the team that's the best is the best and the reason that the team is the worst is not because of the skill. It's not only because of the focus. It's because of the consistency of the focus. The consistency of the focus. The best teams are consistently focused every night. That's why they show up and win. And the worst teams are inconsistent with their focus. That's why they can play great against the champs one night. And then the next night they lose to a team that got just as bad a record as them. How is that possible? How do you beat the champs one night and then the next night lose to a team that has just as bad a record as you? How is that? Because they weren't focused that next night. They're inconsistent with the way they step up and deliver in their performance. And this is the thing that keeps a lot of people, maybe even you right now, from getting to their success, maybe keeping you from getting to your success. And I'm gonna give you a few points when it comes to this topic of consistency. Number one point is this. So let's get clear on what consistency means, the definition. Definition of consistency is a level of performance or achievement that does not vary greatly over time. I'm gonna repeat that. Consistency defined is a level of performance that does not vary greatly over time. That means your performance is about here, then maybe it goes here and here and here, but it doesn't vary a lot. People know what to expect from you. Let's just put it that way. That's what consistent means. People know what to expect from you. People know what you're going to do. They know the level you're going to deliver at. You can be consistent at being bad. You can be consistent at being good. But a lot of people are inconsistent, meaning they'll have one good day, one terrible day. Basketball players write me and say, Dre, I have one day where I'm making every shot. The next day I can't make any shots. One day where my dribble feels great. And the next day I feel like I never dribbled a basketball before in my life. One day where the words are just rolling off my tongue and I'm saying everything I need to say in my sales presentation. And the next day I forget everything. It's like I never even worked at the company before. I never even heard of the product before. How is that? Why is that, Dre? Why am I not able to achieve this level of consistency over and over and over again? I'm going to tell you why in this video. If the challenge for you has been anything like that, it's because you lack consistency. You might already know that, but I'm going to help you out to develop that consistency. With some points here, I'm going to tell you where to go deeper, and I'm going to tell you where to go even deeper. All right, everybody follow me. So point number one, we know what consistency means. Point number two is this. Your success in life is not just based on what you can do. See, people think, okay, what I can do is going to get me on. What I can do is going to get me on the basketball team. It's going to get me some playing time. It's going to make me some money. It's going to get me some girls. It's going to help me generate some business. What you can do is important. You do got to have game. I mean, this is work on your game. So you do have to have game. You do have to have skill. You have to have ability. But consistency is not just about what you can do, people. Let me tell you what it is about. It's about what you can do repeatedly. It's not just what you can do. It's what you can do repeatedly. So for example, if you go to basketball tryouts at your school and you kill it at basketball tryouts, you just dominate. You're making every shot, you're crossing guys, you're playing good defense, you're in the right place on offense and on defense, you're doing all the right things, making the right passes, everything. But then you get on the basketball team and the team starts practicing every single day, but you're not showing that same level of ability every single day in practice. Where are you going to be? Hopefully you stay on the team, but you're going to be sitting on the bench. You are not consistently performing at that level. When I was in college, I would say I was inconsistent when it came to the way I performed in practice. I knew I could play. I could bust anybody's ass. I could dunk on guys. I'm crossing guys. I'm scoring. I could do my thing when I wanted to, but I was not consistently performing on a daily basis. So I wish someone had told me what I'm telling you right now. It's not about just what you can do. Just having game is great, but having game by itself is not enough. Every team in the NBA, you got a roster full of guys who got game. Everybody has game. But guess what? Some teams are really terrible. You know why? Because they're not doing it consistently. They don't bring it every single night as a team. And there are players who don't bring it every single night as an individual. And there are players who bring it every single night. The players who bring it every night are the ones who become the superstars because we know what they can do. And we're talking about the players who have a high level of talent and a high level of consistency. They're consistently showing their talent every night. And there are players who have a high level of talent who are very inconsistent with displaying it. Those are the players who you call them a bust because they got drafted really high, but they end up not even being that great, maybe don't even play for the team that drafted them originally. They bounce around the league. They might end up out of the league. These are players who are inconsistent. It's not because they can't play. They're not bums. They're just inconsistent. And this is what happens to players. This is what happens to salespeople. This is what happens to business people. This is what happens to people trying to build their brand. This is what happens to people in every area of life is that they don't develop the skill of consistency. So point number 2 is that it's not about just what you can do. It's about what you can repeat. What can you continuously do day after day after day after day, all the time, so people can come to expect it from you. If I can expect from you, I played fantasy basketball this year. I had Kevin Durant on my team. Now, before he got injured, I knew what to expect from Kevin Durant. I knew he was going to get probably at least 20 points every single night. I knew he was getting somewhere between 6 and 10 rebounds, maybe more every night. I knew he'd get a handful of assists. He would block a shot or two. He might even get a couple steals. He was a high percentage shooter with the free throws and the three-pointers and his field goals. I was really happy with having Kevin Durant because he's highly talented and he's highly consistent. Everybody understand that. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you can name a player who's been very inconsistent, but you know they can play. Somebody who has talent, but for whatever reason, they up here, they might score 20, then they score 2 points, then they score 10, then they score 15, then they score 30, then they don't get in the game for a week, and you're like, man, what is going on with this player? Inconsistency. They have the ability to do it, but they can't do it over and over and over again. They can't repeat their success. Y'all understand this? And I'm putting a lot of time into this point because I want to make sure y'all get this. Success, just success in life. We can talk basketball, business, people, anything else. Success is not just about what you can achieve. It's about what you can continue to achieve. If I go and give a speech, and my first speech that I give, I just kill it. It's like the best speech anybody ever heard, and I get a standing ovation from the crowd, and then that company hires me and they say, hey, we want you to come give 10 more speeches to us for the rest of the year, and they pay me a lot of money to give those next 10 speeches, and my next 10 speeches are all kind of just okay. Am I a great speaker or am I an okay speaker? I'm an okay speaker. You know why? Because you are not just what you do, but what you repeatedly do. I think Shaquille O'Neal said that once when he won the MVP of the NBA one year. I think it's the only year he won MVP. He called himself the big Aristotle because Aristotle, who was a Greek philosopher, he said, you are what you repeatedly do. You never heard anybody say you are what you can do. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you're repeatedly okay and you're a superstar every once in a while, you're not a superstar. You're okay. Okay? Everybody follow that point. I want to make sure I emphasize that very deeply. Number 3. If you want to perform consistently, how do you do it? You're like, okay, Dre, I get it. I understand what consistency is. I understand it's about I have to do it over and over and over again. It can't just be when I feel like it. It can't just be when I feel good. It can't just be on a good day or a bad day or when I get hyped up or when I get angry. I got to perform every single time no matter what. No matter what I got to do to get to that, I got to do it every day to be known for it. You understand that? Well, how do I do it, Dre? This is how you do it. You want to perform consistently. That means you must practice consistently. And you must practice the way you wish to perform. Let me repeat that, because I want to make sure you get it. You want to perform consistently, you must practice consistently, because how you perform is a direct reflection of how you practice. And the way you practice needs to be equal to the way you wish to perform. So you can't bullshit through your practice and then think you're going to just turn it on in the game. Maybe you can fool yourself and do it once successfully. Maybe you can do it twice. Maybe you can do it 10 times. But there are 100 games. What about the other 90 times? You won't be able to do it. And guess what you're going to be known for? Not the 10, but the 90. So you got to perform. To perform at the level you want, you got to practice at the level you want, and you got to do it over and over and over and over again. Now, how do you get yourself to practice at the level you want to perform consistently over and over and over again? Well, that's a big word. It's called discipline. It's called discipline. I did a TED talk on discipline. You can look it up. It's right here on YouTube. I wrote a book on self-discipline. It is called The Mirror of Motivation. It's part of the Bulletproof Bundle. You can get it at workonyourgameu.com. The link is down there. I got a course on discipline. It's called 30 Days of Discipline. It's a 30-day course. It's $97. It will take you through developing your own discipline. The link, guess what? Down there, workonyourgameu.com. So if you need discipline, I'm the expert to help you with it. But you need to understand that discipline is the starting ground to you practicing consistently. Eventually, you will perform consistently. Let me recap these 3 points. We're talking about the key to success being consistently. A key. It's a lot of keys. Number one, what is consistency? It means a level of performance that does not vary greatly over time. That means we know what to expect from you. Number two, it's not about what you can do. It's about what you can do over and over and over again. Can you repeat your success? Yeah, I know you scored 30 in that game 3 years ago, but have you scored 30 in any game since then? Can you do it every night? Whatever you do every night, that's who you are. Not what you did once in a while, not what you think you can do, not what you said you did 2 weeks ago. What you do every single time, that's who you are. Number three, if you want to perform consistently, you got to practice consistently. You want to practice consistently, you better develop some discipline. I got the materials for you. Mirror Motivation, my TED Talk on discipline. I've done a whole bunch of videos here on YouTube on discipline, and my course, 30 Days of Discipline. Oh yeah, my podcast called Work on Your Game. It's every single day. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, name a place, we there. It's free. It's every day. We already a year into it. If you ain't been listening to it, start listening to it. Start at episode number 1 so you don't miss nothing. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.